I'm going to share some of these special situations in PCNL and how to tackle them. Well, as you know, that as Dr. Pal pointed out, what exactly is the technique? But certainly these techniques, as he rightly pointed out, that these techniques will have to be modified a little bit as per the situation. And there are certain situations where you really need to modify your technique and understand what exactly you are going to tackle and you are going to do PCNL. So what are those special situations? Basically, the special situations are the anomalies of the kidney, anomalies of the kidney position and the ascent. So when the kidney is abnormally placed, like malrotated, ectopic, horseshoe, fused kidney, these are the situations, and if they form the stone, these are the special situations, and you really have to understand how exactly you're going to do PCNL. Similarly, in children, you need to have a little bit different protocol altogether. When patient is grossly obese, you need to have little different technique. Kyphoscoliosis, calaceal abnormalities, pregnant patients. So these are the special situations, and we can't discuss all of them because of the want of time. But certainly there are some situations we will certainly discuss it out, and I will elaborate what exactly can be done and how we do PCNL in those situations. Horseshoe kidney PCNL, there are some of the facts which we need to understand. The horseshoe is the commonest congenital renal anomaly, and these are the patients who will definitely form the stones. You have to understand that in a horseshoe kidney, the kidneys are much lower than the normal because it's an ascent as well as a rotation anomaly. And therefore, your puncture is much lower than the normal side where you will have the puncture. You never require to go above 12-3 in a horseshoe kidney. Upper calyx is usually preferred calyx. Lower calyx is difficult to access because not only it is much lower, but because of the rotational anomaly, it is very difficult to puncture the lower calyx. So most of the punctures are in a horseshoe are through the upper calyx. The pelvis is facing anteriorly and calyces are facing posteriorly. Now this is a fact which one has to understand, and because of this, the puncture is more medial and posterior than usual. Usually the kidneys we puncture quite laterally, but in a horseshoe your puncture will go much more medially and posteriorly. Vessels in the horseshoe kidney, there is a lot of fear amongst the newcomers that how do we do PCNL? Is there any problem with the vessels and all? One has to understand that vessels come always from the anterior, and therefore it is very safe to puncture from the posterior side. Pelvis is usually elongated, lower calyx goes into the isthmus, and therefore approach to lower calyx isthmus may be a little difficult because of the awkward angulation. Sometimes because of the, if there are stones in the isthmus, you may need to use the flexible nephroscopes, and quite often when you make the upper calyx puncture, and if you have to go to the lower calyx or into the isthmus, you may have to use the long scopes and long implants if required. PUJ also has the higher insertion, and hence the drainage may be hampered, and therefore it is very much necessary for the horseshoe kidney PCNL to have complete clearance. Every case does not, of course, need PUJ correction, but complete clearance is definitely mandatory, because even if there is some dust or some fragments which are left over, in a normal situation, they may be passed out, but in horseshoe, that may not happen. And therefore, you need to have a complete clearance. It has been shown that incidence of urolithiasis is a little bit more than the normal kidney, and that one has to be very careful. The next anomaly or special situation is the ectopic kidney, and this you will definitely keep on getting the cases. It is rare anomaly. It could be a pelvic kidney, it could be a little unascended kidney, it could be sitting into the sacroiliac joint, or it could be in the little higher up. So in this, in a situation where there is a pelvic ectopic kidney, it lies in the pelvic retroperitoneum, anterior to sacrum, and inferior to the bifurcation of the aorta. Pelvis faces anteriorly or medially, depending on the amount of rotation which has taken place, and the blood supply comes from the iliac or the lower aorta. Now, what are the problems when you are doing PCNL in a situation like this? The kidney is surrounded by bowel, situated in the retroperitoneal on the medial side, posteriorly lying on the bone. So it's very difficult to get the posterior the entry. Pelvis calycis faces anteriorly, and therefore it is very difficult. Abnormal and consistent vasculature and PCS access definitely is a challenge. Once you get access, rest of the things are same. Getting access is a very, very difficult thing. And therefore, the ultrasound guide and the laparoscopic guide, these are the two things which have been described for the PCNL. Typically, for a long period of time, we have been doing ultrasound guided PCNL in the pelvic ectopic kidney. This is a diagrammatic representation where we just press the probe to the kidney, displacing all the bowels. Make sure that on the sonography, there is nothing between the probe skin and the kidney surface. And once you ensure that, it may be through peritoneum, but once you ensure that there is no vessel, there is no the bowel inside, then the puncture can be made, the tract can be dilated, and PCNL can be performed. This is one of the cases where I will show you the ectopic kidney. We have done a lot of cases about it. This is the innovative method of a micro PCNL. Here you can see that the pelvic ectopic kidney patient is lying in a supine position with slight tilt. Ultrasound plays an extremely important part. Pre-operatively in the OPD itself, you have to see whether you are able to get the window or not. In case if you are not going to get the window, obviously you cannot do PCNL. Here you can see that the ultrasound guided puncture is made. This is micro PCNL. Inject the contrast, make sure that it is properly into the system. And now this is the innovative technique which we have been practicing in few cases of micro PCNL. MicroPuck, as you know, that it's a one-step PCNL. So all the steps of the PCNL, like wire, tract dilatation, nephroscopy, all these avoided. Once you make a puncture, you directly put a telescope and you start breaking the stone. So in an ectopic kidney situation, these are extremely important things because often you see that in the ectopic kidney, the problem starts with the dilatation, problem starts with putting the implants, problem starts with breaking the stone. Here now you can see that the MicroPuck needle is pushed inside. You can see the stone very well. The picture is quite clear. And with the laser fiber, you break the stone completely. In a MicroPuck, there is no question of retrieval of the fragments. You have to dust the fragments, put a degestant, and hope for all the dust to come out. However, if you are not going to get the window, then you need to go for the laparoscopy guided PCNL, wherein the laparoscope is introduced through the umbilicus, puncture is done, the accurateness of the puncture is confirmed by the laparoscopy. In case if you see that there is a bowel and the mesentery is coming the way, then with the laparoscopy, with the additional the ports, you have to dissect out the bowel and make sure that when you are puncturing the needle, it is not through the injuring any surrounding organ. Once the puncture is properly done, then the subsequent steps are like any other PCNL. Again, at the end of the PCNL, reconfirm by laparoscopy that you have not damaged anything, put a small drain and you come out. So that is about the laparoscopy guided PCNL. In a pediatric situation, this is a very, very special situation. There are certain things which you need to understand. These are small mobile kidneys, small compact pelvic system. Effect of the procedure on growing kidneys is unknown. Effect of radiation is definitely there. We know the problems of radiation, and therefore ultrasound guide is preferred. Gonads have to be protected while you are doing fluoroscopy. Size of the instrument is very, very important, especially when you are doing two small children like 6 months, 1 year of age, then the instruments have to be carefully chosen. The size of the urethra is extremely important. Whatever you are doing, you may do proper PCNL. But in the process, if you damage the urethra, it's a lifelong problem. And therefore, definitely there is a learning curve and a delicateness which is required for managing the PCNL. We have started off late doing this MIP XS, or this is the mini micro PCNL, in which it's an 8 or a 9 French tract which can be used. And the successful PCNL can be done. This is just a representative case where we are showing the mini micro PCNL. Again, it's the same, the 8 or a 9 French tract which can be used. Otherwise, the procedure is same, ultrasound guided puncture. You see where exactly the stone is, see where the calyx is, see where the desired calyx is, and you puncture the desired calyx through the ultrasound guide. Now, this is how the puncture is made. Inject the contrast, confirm that everything is proper. And now this is the 8 French mini micro PCNL sheet, which has got an adequate rigidity. Now you can put the telescope, make sure that the stone is properly seen, and the laser is used for disintegration of a stone. You see the dusting protocol or a dusting setting, so that you powder the stone completely, so that there is no problem or fragments coming down or coming out or slipping into it. Once you confirm that everything is out, then the stone can be the track can be reduced. Advantage of mini micro PCNL is that you can go from one pelvis to other calyx to other superior calyx or inferior calyx, which you cannot do with the just a micropore, because it's just the needle. So that's a benefit of this. Sometimes you keep getting the grossly obese patients. Now, what are the technical problems? Fluoroscopy sometimes is very difficult to visualize. They will need very high kV. Stone to skin distance is very high. Needs a longer needle, longer instruments, and implant may go inside, and therefore you may have to take sutures to pull out the implants. There are many long implants which are available, long nephroscopes which are available, which can be used for such patient. This is one of the representative case. Grossly obese patient, more than 50 BMI, and very, very high 14 centimeter skin to stone distance. Very difficult right from the word go. Often people prefer to do supine PCNL. This is the patient where we are demonstrating PCNL in a prone position. So many people are required to turn the patient. The deep vein thrombosis is a problem, and you see that the obesity and this is very, very difficult. These are the instruments which are long instruments, long nephroscope, and once you puncture in a proper guide, then the rest of the PCNL is almost the same. Sometimes the challenging situation is a spinal deformity, and this is a very, very challenging case. A 70 years old male, severe kyphoscoliosis. You can see that this is the plain X-ray KUB, and this is how the patient was. X-ray KUB was also difficult to take challenge, very difficult. This patient had a renal pelvic and a lower calyxal stone with recurrent UTI, normal creatinine, and you see that there's a stone here and lower calyx stone here. And you see that this is how the CT scan look like. Again, the ultrasound is extremely useful. This is how you can't give any prone, or you can't keep patient in the supine position. We have to do PCNL in a lateral position under local anesthesia. You see that the ultrasound guide, and you see where exactly the stone is. These are all things which you need to really carefully mark in a special situation. How you are getting the window, which is the calyx which are going to puncture. And when you are doing actually PCNL, you have already done everything, rehearsed. This is the local anesthesia. Under local anesthesia, give a needle, and then the patient is awake in a lateral position. Fluoroscopy is difficult to get. And with the once you get the puncture, the subsequently tract dilatation and everything is same. Laser disintegration is very useful. Make sure that all the fragments are come out, and this is how the PCNL can be done. So in a special situation, which you will keep on getting when you start doing PCNL on a regular basis, your approach should be individualized. There are no set guidelines that these are the guidelines, these are the steps which you have to follow in a special situations. The principle of PCNL remains same, and you have to modify your steps as per the situation. So this is what I wanted to tell about the special situations PCNL. Thank you very much.